Hey everybody, I just got home. It is cold out, it is rainy, and I gotta say, I just want to spend the rest of my day in my house where it's nice and cozy and dry and warm. I'm got a fire going down in the basement, so yeah, we're gonna find projects to do in the house. And while my son's at school, I am going to work on onions. These came from my garden and they did not get very big. I am not happy with my onions at all. Now I do have some that did get a little bit bigger out in the pantry that are hanging, and that's fine. But I had 3 of those containers full of onions. So while I have already dehydrated some, here's 2 things of onion powder so far. And here is just dehydrated onions for baking, cooking, stews, and our eggs, however we want them. We can use them anywhere. Now the other day, I was bored. I will admit, I went on to Amazon to Prime Days, and I got to looking at dehydrators. Do I need one? No. However, I was able to score a pretty good deal on one that was on sale, and then with my extra credits, I paid less than $80 for a $200 dehydrator. So, Merry Christmas to me early. My normal dehydrator that I have, I just bought it from Walmart probably 8 years ago, and it's just a normal one. You plug in and it turns on. You cannot regulate the heat, time, anything on it. This dehydrator that I bought the other day, I want to show you. This dehydrator looks like a little mini microwave to start with. Door just opens and shuts like that. I've got 6 shelves, trays. Now on these trays, am I going to be able to dehydrate my things like eggs? No. My other dehydrator will still be needed for anything liquid. However, this, I am able to regulate the temperature, how long I want it to go. Came with these little silicone hand mats to pull the shelves out. They just kind of remind me of sharks. They gave me 2 little plastic containers that are rather cheap. They squeeze easy. Will they get used? Absolutely. For my spices? No way. But good for Q-tips for the kids. Or cotton balls, just saying. So, in many ways, I'm assuming you probably want to know what exactly I intend to do. We've got onions. We've got the new dehydrator. However, not only do I want to test out this new dehydrator, but I want to also compare the 2 dehydrators. One, I want to see which one gets done quicker, because let's face it, that's less electricity that gets used. The drying effect, which one seems to dry better versus the other, and just kind of get an idea. I'm going to assume that my other dehydrator runs about 160 temp wise. I have never actually tested the temperature, but you know what? I do have a unit that I should actually be able to do that. We might have to try that as well. But what I need to first do is get my hands all stinky and start cutting all these onions up. Now I want to show you something. Everyone tells me when I'm done cutting onions to wash my hands with salt. My sister-in-law a few years back bought me one of these little silver bars. And I've got to say, you rub it on your hands and it takes the odor away. I'm not going to lie, this actually works pretty darn good. And not just for onions. When I'm cutting garlic and stuff like that, oh yeah, it works great. So enough of me rambling. It is time for this girl to start getting all teary-eyed and cutting the onions. Am I going to show you that part? No. I will explain how I did it though. Obviously, I did not get all of the onions, but my container has got plenty in it. So now I'm just breaking them up to place on the tray. Just kind of separating them a little bit. And we'll see how many we can get on a tray. I separated a little bit just to help with the airflow and breaking them down. So this is what I am going to be doing now. So here is our first tray. All right, I've got my last tray going in. This is tray number 6. And then I'm going to start working on the onions for the other dehydrator. I like that it has a window. On this dehydrator, as you can see, the holes are a lot bigger. 9 times out of 10, I end up putting these trays on. Just makes it a lot easier. These are the rest of the small onions that I have left. I do have a few bigger ones like this that I do know 2 of these will fill 1 round tray. And this one has 4 trays to it. So on this round dehydrator, I've got 3 shelves with the small onions that I cut up. On the 4th tray, I am not going to put onions. What I have is some onion powder from last year. And even though it had a dry packet in it, it got clumpy. I don't know if you can see the clumps in there. So I'm going to take and pry this out and put it back on the dehydrator and get it powdered back up. See, I just want to show you it's got moisture in it, so it's not that powdery. It's all clumpy. This obviously will not take nowhere near as long as the regular onions to dry back out. Alright, now we got it spread out. On this one, we just put the lid on, and then to turn it on, all we do is plug it in. And while that's working, this I will scrub out and make sure it is completely dry before we put anything back in it. So on this one, we turn the power on. Temperature we want down. They say about 158. This does it in 5 increments, so we'll do 150. And time, they say 3 to 9 hours. So we will check it after 3 hours. And that's all there is to that. Alright, we got both dehydrators going. Started them at the same time. So, I will check back with you guys in a little bit as we keep an eye on the onion powder. And I want to put a thermometer in the round dehydrator to see if we can get an idea on the temperature in there. As you can see, what I did is I took my grill temperature gauge and I've got it right in there with the powder, and it's reading about 140. It's been a little over an hour. It is starting to dry out nicely again. I'll probably might end up running it right back through the grinder. So let's do a quick check. It's been an hour and a half. Oof, oof. Yeah, it's starting to dry out pretty good. I have a feeling it's going to take longer than 3 hours. But it's a good start. This is day 2. I had to get some sleep last night. But altogether, these dehydrators have ran for 9 hours. I pulled this out. This is the powder that I had to re-dehydrate. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a minute. But let's take a look. I wanted to show you after 9 hours. This is all good and dried. You can easily break. There's no moisture. Perfect. Let's pull a shelf out of here. Again, nice and dry, hard. So either one looks to me, oh, there's some soft on here, but that was in a big thick. But either way, both of them did a good job. Any of the pieces that still have some moisture in it, I will take and put on one little tray and put back in after I separate it, because it would be because they was too thick compared to everything else. Over here I have my coffee grounder. This does not so much grind coffee as it does my spices more than anything. And I am just going to put this back in here just to help break up these big particles. These big hunks. Make it nice and fine again. This is how simple it is. You put it in the grinder, put the lid on, and right back to a nice fine powder. I have the clean jar. It's all nice and dry. that we will dump it back into. My moisture packet, that'll go right back in the jar. And actually, I will probably mix some of the new with the old. And one of the reasons why the moisture got in is the rubber seal is not on here. I have to go down and get one of those. I do have rubber seals for these jars. So after 9 hours, this is just the little few pieces that were left that needed a little bit more drying. So 9 hours, and I ended up with 2 full containers of dehydrated onions. This will definitely last me a year because I still get some fresh here and there from the store. Plus, I have all the onion powder that I've made up. So we're good. When I do the comparison between the 2 dehydrators, I like the fact that the new one I can regulate the time and the temperature, which I'm unable to do on the round one. On the round one, I feel like I have more room on the shelf to spread things out better, and I like the fact that I have the insert so I can do liquid. Time-wise, they run about the same. The top of the round dehydrator was 140. The other dehydrator we had set at 160. That's 20 degrees difference, but I did not check the temperature on the first tray at the bottom of the round one. So in comparison, time-wise, they took the same amount of time to dehydrate the onions. One was not more effective than the other. In my opinion, they are both equal and likes, as one has some features I like that the other lacks, and the other has features I like that the other lacks. I will definitely be using both of them depending upon what I am dehydrating. So time-wise was equal. The dryness between the 2 was also equal. I am very much satisfied with both of the dehydrators. Here we are. Onions are done. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Toodles!